Hello there, I'm McCabe. This is Channel for Anything and Everything, and today I attended a really bad talk at an astronomers conference. So it started off really interesting with the talk being about 3D cameras and how it could be used for 3D instructional videos for, say, astronomy classes or any other kinds of classes that would require an understanding of depth, such as planets orbiting around a sun or a star or whatever it might be orbiting around, like galaxies around a central mass. And they also made a connection to how we could use the parallax effect of having a background move slower than something in the foreground. So say you're trying to turn around my hand, with this hand in the background, this hand is going to go really fast while this might be going a little bit slower. And they likened it to how we can map the Milky Way in a 3D view. And the speaker discussed different setups of 3D cameras and how having the lenses really close together is a good thing. It makes it easier to work with the depth of field. And they also talked about how there are three main setups for 3D cameras, which is a parallel form where both lenses are pointing in the same direction. There's convergence, which is both lenses are pointed towards each other, and then divergence, which is when they are pointed away from each other. And the convergence is the best form for any normal kind of use because it would allow you to better control your depth of field, and the parallel wouldn't be that great because it's just looking straight on and it's not really seeing any kind of depth. And then there's divergence, which would be used more for film circumstances where they could composite the background later. But as the talk continued, for them talking about how they want 3D video to be used for instructional purposes, their whole technology system was just completely failing. And so that's an issue that you should definitely figure out, especially if you're giving a talk about technology. Make sure your technology works in the first place. They were having issues, just simple issues, connecting to Wi-Fi and finding their files on their computer. You should probably have that figured out before you're going to give a presentation to a bunch of people. And then their argument started to become where they would just use any kind of video in 3D. So like, say I'm standing here and they're shooting a 3D video and that's all that you're getting, nothing that needs a depth of field. Their point started to get lost, and they just had a bunch of extraneous information that wasn't necessary to their point. When we got to the questions section where anybody in the audience could ask a question about their presentation or research or ideas, this one lady asked about basically why would students want to use 3D video when they could just attend a lecture, and then he rebutted with, well, if they can't make it to class, they might still want to be able to go to class. But then also my thought became, why would I just want to watch a lecture in 3D when it could just be 2D? Because there's no reason to have depth of field, and if I'm just watching a 3D video, I'm just going to start getting a headache after a while. Then the person asking the original question started asking, well, if your lectures are going to be interesting, why aren't your students going? And then the speaker really got on the defensive of being just like, I am an excellent speaker, but that did not forward his point at all. And so you have to be careful in your choice of words when you're giving the presentation of whatever it is. If you're trying to make a point, be careful with what you say. All in all, I thought the idea was cool of having 3D videos to give an example of depth of field for students to be able to comprehend, say, here's a planet, I'm the sun, and I'm just spinning around. Both the sun is spinning and the planets are moving around me. If I can see that depth of field, it's going to be a whole lot easier to understand what is happening in the planetary sciences. But if you're just lecturing there, pointing to a video on the screen that you have up on a 2D TV, it's not going to help. There's no reason for it. So if you're going to be using 3D video, you have to be selective with what you are shooting. But anyway, that's what happened to me today. There were a bunch of other interesting talks, speaking of like gravitational waves and different cool ideas like that. But anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Have a great day and subscribe.
Guys, I think I'm stuck.
It's all right.
I can't get back to the shuttle.